Hello, I'm Marcia Oglin, a Hearth Board of Director and an employee at Highmark Health. I want to welcome all of you today to the 12th annual Purses with a Purpose event, sponsored by Highmark Health and Allegheny Health Network. We believe in creating a remarkable health experience, freeing people to be their best. And we know firsthand the impact that Hearth has on helping homeless women with children in overcoming trauma and on their journey to become their best. I want to thank you for joining us today and impacting the lives of these women and families, as well as those throughout the community. So thank you again and enjoy this virtual experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Mikey Hood from Pittsburgh Today Live and KDKA.
And I'm David Highfield, also from KDKA and Pittsburgh Today Live.
And we're so excited to be with you for the 12th annual Purses with a Purpose event, and it's all virtual. Now, the auction opened Friday and will remain open until 2 p.m. on Sunday. So make sure that you are bidding on your favorite packages. And boy, I tell you, there are some amazing handbags in the auction that I've had my eye on.
Yeah, they're certainly very impressive. Now, as you can see, we are not able to be with you there in person today, but this is still going to be a fantastic event. You know, I've had the pleasure of being involved with Hearth's Purses with a Purpose event for the past 5 years. I've watched this event's popularity grow, so it's unfortunate we can't be together, but I'm so glad to see the turnout that we have here today. And it's been great to work with the Hearth staff. They have taken extra precautions, not only to keep Mikey and I safe, but also all of you at home safe, and really everyone involved in this program safe. And, you know, Mikey, whenever I first attended one of these events, I knew, you know, on an intellectual level, what they did for the community. But until you hear the individual stories from these incredible women and how Hearth has changed their lives, then you begin to understand it on an emotional level. And it's so important, the work they do.
Yeah, and I am so looking forward to hearing those stories, David. And really, by all of you participating in this event, money raised will go towards helping to make an impact in the lives of homeless women with children who are impacted by domestic violence or trauma, really. And thanks to Hearth, who provides safe transitional housing and supportive services that empower these families to really move forward. We hope that you safely enjoy this event on your own or with friends.
Yeah, so to tell you a little bit more about the impact of your support, let's cut to Hearth CEO, Marisa C. Williams.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Mikey and David, and hello to everyone out in the virtual world. This is not how we pictured our Purses with a Purpose event going, but one thing that we've learned about 2020 is you got to be a little bit flexible. So thank you so much for joining us this weekend. We hope that you have a nice beverage, maybe a little bit of brunch, something in front of you to enjoy as you experience this virtual Purses with a Purpose event. It's kind of hard to believe that Hearth has been doing this for 12 years and they have a phenomenal staff and committee working behind the scenes to make sure that you enjoy every moment of this hour. And it's my pleasure to just be able to welcome you. I am Hearth's probably newest addition to the crew, and I am Marisa Williams, the new CEO for Hearth. And I'm really excited to have you all joining us today from all over. I know that there's some folks from my hometown in Media, Pennsylvania watching. I know there's folks in Pittsburgh, Florida, Phoenix, Colorado. So, we've stretched our audience for this virtual event. And I'm just excited to have you all with us. We've raised over $500,000 over the years for the women of Hearth. And one of my personal philosophies is people first and project second. And this is one of those things where we're really trying to make sure that the investments that you make in these amazing bags, we turn that around into investment in our moms and their children, because we really want to make sure that people that walk into Hearth that are focused on survival, that when they walk out that door, their sole purpose and focus is on thriving. COVID-19 has provided many challenges for various charities, including Hearth. We have been busy learning how we can be innovative in this season and continue to serve the families that depend on Hearth services. And as we move into the holiday season, that can cause heightened stress and also, unfortunately, heightened violence. We want to make sure that everyone out there knows that we do have some vacancies at Hearth, and we'd like you all to check in with anybody that you think might be able to utilize our services and refer them to Hearth. We would be happy to be that safe place for them during this holiday season. And without further ado, I'd like to transition to the fun part of this event to learn a little bit more about the process for this auction and the way that you all can walk away with a lot of fun goodies. Our Purses with a Purpose co-chairs, Christine Henney and Jackie Horwat. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Marissa. Purses with a Purpose has a long history. This is the 12th year of our event. And in the past, it's been run by Kelly Owen, who's a great friend of mine, and she always did a fabulous job. But of course, the year I take over, COVID-19 hits. We've done a lot of pivoting over the last several weeks, and it's been a great effort by the committee and the Hearth staff to make this a wonderful event. I want to thank all of them. We have some amazing raffles for you today. If you purchased either the general admission or the VIP ticket, you're automatically entered into our door prize experience for a $200 gift card to the beautiful Lamont. If you purchase the VIP ticket, you're also entered into a raffle for an exquisite Tory Burch bag. It is absolutely stunning, and I only wish I could win it. The winners for either of these raffles will be announced in an email that will be sent to all of the event participants around 3 p.m. on Sunday. Winners will also be announced on social media. Good luck to everybody.
Thanks, Christine. Similarly, like in years past, we also are doing our Clutches for a Cause raffle. We have this year 3 Michael Kors and 2 Coach clutches, and they're filled with various gift cards from shopping vendors like Nordstrom and Target, as well as other restaurants and other food vendors. All you need to do is click on the auction link, and the first few packages are labeled as Clutches for a Cause. It's $10 a chance, so get picking. Instructions can also be found in the program, which is available in the email you received, with the link to access the auction. The Clutches for a Cause will close around 2 p.m. on Sunday, and winners will be identified in the same email that Christine mentioned that will be sent to all participants around 3 o'clock on Sunday. The next thing I wanted to talk about is our Fill the Purse. This was always a fun event, and in years past, our Fill the Purse has been a competition between the levels at the Lamont. Since we cannot do that this year, we're hoping that we can all come together to raise $10,000. In this time of unprecedented need, Hearth and its passionate supporters have reached out with a remarkable outpouring of support, which has provided critical donations to the families of Hearth who are homeless as a result of domestic violence and other trauma. While the long-term effects of COVID-19 on the nonprofit sector are still unknown, Hearth is still providing safe, affordable housing and supportive services to those right here in our community that need our help. We ask that you make all donations through our Bid Pal Fill the Purse button. Additionally, if you are a new donor to Hearth, your donation will be matched 2-to-1 by Hearth's anonymous donor who is matching new or increased donations up to $250,000. We already have a few donations, so please consider helping us meet our goal of $10,000.
Yes, that was a lot, Jackie. So let's recap. Here are all the ways to participate. 1, bid on your favorite bags through the silent auction. 2, donate to Fill the Purses and help us raise $10,000. Or 3, enter the Clutches for a Cause by buying a raffle ticket.
That's great. Up next, I had the pleasure to talk with a local purse designer, Sandra, of Sandra David, who also has provided an amazing bag for our auction, which is package number 25. So check that out. And let's hear about her business and the important work she does. Hello, I am Jackie Horwat, and I am a member of the Purses for a Purpose Committee. And I am here today talking with Sandra Ryman, who is the president and founder of Sandra K. David, which is a luxury handbag and jewelry company. Welcome, Sandra.
Thanks, Jackie. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Sandra K. David produces high quality goods using only the best materials locally sourced in Sandra's home country of Colombia. And she does this all while working as a full-time executive director at JP Morgan Chase. Sandra, can you tell us about being the president of Sandra K. David and while working full-time, and from where do you draw your inspiration?
Sure. So I've actually been designing handbag concepts since I was a child. It's something I've always been really passionate about. I love leather. I love working with, leather designs, anything that has to do with leather. And while I was actually in grad school, my husband asked me just one night, we were having drinks, and he asked me what I would do if I had limitless resources. And that's kind of where it all started. I said to him, I would love to be a handbag designer and just, sell my bags, sell my designs, and see what I could do with that. And so that's kind of where it came from. The inspiration really honestly is just, I've always had this affinity for fashion and leather. And so I think for me, it's more just internal than it is anything else. I come from a country that's rich when it comes to artisan products and goods. And it's something that, we're known for in Colombia. So I was very excited to be able to be a part of that and kind of make it happen. It's definitely tough because I'm still in banking, which is my first love. I will always be in banking. I knew I was always going to be in banking, but this was something that just kind of fulfilled the personal side, right? The side that I always wanted to have an outlet for creativity. And since fashion is part of that, I was able to make it happen and just kind of do both.
Wow, that's wonderful. What a great story. So then what led you to position your company to be more philanthropic and partner with nonprofits like Hearth?
Sure. I was in Colombia one time when I was kind of putting my team together, and I was working with a partner in Colombia. And while we were in a meeting, a priest came in and struck up a conversation with him around one of the issues that was facing them at the moment, which was, they had all these women that were coming to the churches in droves, and they had lost their husbands to violence, and they were left destitute, without jobs, without incomes, resources. And they were looking for ways to help these women. And one of the creative ways that they found was to try to partner up with small business owners to see if they could help these women, teach them a skill, provide them with resources and connections to other employers so they could potentially become self-employed and feed their families. And so when I heard about the story and the stories of some of these women, I wanted to be involved. I knew that, it wasn't necessarily in my budget, but we were somehow going to be able to make it happen. And we did. We got creative. We were able to connect with the priest later on. And before we launched our first collection, we were able to employ at least 4 women. And that's kind of how we started.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. So it seems that your goal through your company is to empower women. And in Hearth, obviously, we love that. So tell us why you think empowering women is so important.
It's so interesting because our species, we have such a powerful tool, which is, we can handle so much. We could do so much. And when you empower one woman, it's like empowering with a multiplier effect. And I saw that firsthand. When we empowered some of these women to be self-reliant and to be resourceful and to be self-employed and be able to feed their children and just support themselves, they started to help each other, and they started to connect to other women that needed help. And they too were willing to put the work in to help them. So you empowered one woman, and by the end you were empowering just dozens. And like I said, empowering one woman just has that multiplier effect. So
that's wonderful. Such a powerful message. Well, thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate you taking the time with talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Jackie. Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Well, if you want to learn more about Sandra from Sandra Cadavid Purses, go to sandracadavid.com, or you can bid on auction item number 25.
That's right, David. Well, next let's understand the impact that your participation in this event has on Hearth. We want to share an intimate interview that Purses with a Purpose Chair Christine Henney had with a graduate of our program, Shannon. Christine got to talk about her personal experience at Hearth and where she is today. So let's take a look and enjoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christine Henney, chair of this year's Purses with a Purpose. I want to thank all of you for joining us. I'm sitting here now, humbled by the presence of one of our program participants, Shannon. We're conducting this virtually, but I'd like to welcome Shannon to our virtual meeting. And I'd like to thank you, Shannon, for taking the time and investing the emotional energy to share your story with everybody. These stories are important for people to hear, so thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Christine. I'm really glad to be here and be able to share my story. So thank you.
So let's get started, if you wouldn't mind, by sharing a little of your history and explaining how you arrived at Hearth.
Sure. So I think to explain a little bit about how I arrived at Hearth, it's important to kind of go back to the beginning of my story and my marriage and hear a little bit about what happened. So that takes me all the way back to when I was 20 years old and I was a camp counselor one summer as part of an internship for school. And that's the summer I met the man that would become my husband. And there were some red flags there, some issues with temper and anger that I will be honest, I chose to ignore at the time. And later on, those came back to bite me and to be more problematic than I anticipated. So we ended up getting married when I was 23 years old. And I moved to Pittsburgh. I was actually from out of the area. And the abuse started to escalate as we were now living together in our marriage. And then about 3 years in, I gave birth to our daughter. And 17 months later, our son followed. And as this happened, that's actually when I saw the abuse really start to peak. One of the things that happened at one point was my shoulder was dislocated. There were other instances with physical abuse where he put his hands on me or chased me down the stairs. A lot of conflict in there that was really, really scary for me and where I really was concerned for my safety. And the thing that was changing now at that point for me was that I now had 2 children that I was concerned about. I had this little girl and this little boy, and I kept looking at my daughter and thinking, oh my goodness, I don't want her to think this is okay. And I don't want my son to behave like this or think this is okay. I didn't want either of them to learn anything, that accepted abuse in their relationships. So all of a sudden, with that information in front of me, my concern for my kids, the escalating physical abuse, I was faced with a tough decision to make. And I finally decided to leave. So one night I packed up just a couple duffel bags and some papers and I went to a shelter. And that was honestly the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the most terrifying time in my life. But when I was at the shelter, that's actually when I found out about Hearth and I found out about transitional living programs for women who are escaping domestic violence and how they can help in the interim to help women step down from that leaving back to independent care, but helping to empower them. So I was really, really interested in the program, and I went through the process of applying and getting connected, and Hearth accepted me, which I will forever be grateful for. When I showed up at Hearth for the first time, I just remember walking in those doors and being so scared and at the same time feeling so safe, which is not something I had felt in a very long time. And that was how my journey started at Hearth.
Yeah, that's a touching story. Thank you for sharing that. Shannon, tell us a bit more about your time at Hearth. How did it help you personally and professionally?
Sure. So on a personal level, Hearth did a lot for me. There was a lot of emotional healing that needed to be addressed. And my case management team at Hearth was really supportive. They were very encouraging emotionally. They really were constantly cheering me on when things were tough, encouraging me to try for different jobs and just saying that I could do this and believing in me. Hearth also has had a great history of networking and collaborating with other local organizations that I think is such an asset to all of them, and especially Hearth. They connected with Crisis Center North, which provided individual therapy for me. They also provided some group therapy for some of us women, when we would meet on Monday nights. That was really helpful as well, just leading groups and empowering us. Treasure House Fashions is another one they collaborated with. Remember, I came with 2 duffel bags, just 2 duffel bags. I didn't even remember to pack my own underwear or toothbrush. And I needed a lot of things, to just get my life reset. Thanks to Treasure House Fashions and the clothing pantry at Hearth, I was able to have clothes for interviews. I remember thinking, I need dress shoes, and I had everything I needed to look professional and to be successful. And then when I first started my job, North Hills Community Outreach collaborated with them as well. And we were able to receive toiletries and food and other necessities that were really, really important at the time. And Hearth really also just created that safe space where, I felt confident. I felt like I was able to empower myself, be encouraged, find healing, and have the tools needed to meet my goals. I will say one thing that was a little bit challenging at Hearth was that when I was hunting for the job, a full-time position, because I came in on the career path, I already had my bachelor's, that there wasn't a lot of childcare available or a lot of support for that just for a full-time worker. So I struggled a little bit with that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've called out so many of the partnerships that Hearth has. It really is what makes it possible for us to provide the breadth of services. And I'm also glad that you mentioned the challenge of childcare. That's an ongoing challenge. A few years back, we did have a bit of a win by establishing an early Head Start program, and that has been very beneficial for our women. But, we're always looking for new solutions. So if anybody in the audience has some thoughts on that, we're all ears. Please approach us about that. So, Shannon, what would you say sets Hearth apart from other organizations?
Yeah, well, I think Christine, you actually just articulated one of the things that I would say sets Hearth apart, which I did highlight already, is that collaborative nature. You even just saying, is there anybody in the audience who has ideas or contributing thoughts? That would be great. I think that's actually amazing, and that's why I wanted to articulate those partnerships, because I think they really do work to utilize resources that are out there that can support their women. I think the other thing that makes Hearth different, and there's the sign in the hall that says it, is, they are working to give a hand up and not a hand out. It's really about empowering women, not rescuing them, not pitying them, but just helping them to find their way forward. And that's really, really important. And I think that's really a great asset of this organization. Also, I would say that I see genuine dedication throughout their entire mission, throughout the vision, with their entire staff. Everything is working all together with this one perspective in mind, and it's genuinely carried out. And then the last thing that always struck me about Hearth was how responsible they were with their resources. So a lot of places could get resources and just kind of toss them and use them and maybe be a little wasteful in how they use them. Hearth always wanted to share the resources, of course, with their women. And they always wanted to make sure that they gave you enough and not too much so you could share with other people, and that they were being used wisely, and, just making sure that they were being as responsible as possible. And I just thought that was a really, really strong demonstration of the ethics and just what kind of organization Hearth is.
Right. That's great to hear from a program participant. Obviously, we do try to apply the resources where they'll be the most beneficial. So it's good to hear that you recognize that. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, Shannon.
Yeah, I love to talk about my journey from when I completed Hearth up till now, because I'm so grateful and I'm so excited about where I am in life. And I don't think I would have gotten to this point if it wasn't for my leaving my marriage and getting the support I needed at Hearth. So I successfully completed Hearth's program in 2015. And at that point, I had a position with the Cancer Center at a local research facility in one of our Pittsburgh hospitals. And that was a great job. I did work there for a little bit, but then I ended up actually going back for my master's in counseling at Chatham University. And I completed my master's going, as a single mom, part-time, Lots of bumps along the road, but made it through and graduated in 2019. And since then, I've been working as a therapist. I've worked in a couple different capacities, and I love it. It is definitely the position that I always wanted. I love working with people and getting to help other people who are struggling. And it's just a joy that this is where I get to be right now. And then my kids, I have to talk about my kids because remember, they were 3 and 1.5 when I left. And now they're 9 and 7.5. And they're thriving. They're happy kids. They're well-adjusted kids. They're not perfect kids because there's no such thing as perfect, right? They're perfectly normal. They're healthy and they're thriving at school. And I am so grateful for that every day, when I see them making healthy choices and interacting with their peers and being able to manage their emotions. And I'm really, really thankful. They had a really positive experience at Hearth too, which I'm also really thankful for because I think it could have been something that was really traumatic to them. They had not lived in any other home, being separated from their father. All of the things that went down were very stressful. And yet we were just put into a place where we felt so safe and cared for that it decreased the traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And they continue to wave. They wave at Hearth as we drive by because we live in the North Hills, so we go by and they say, "Hi, Hearth," and we talk about how we had a really positive experience. And I'm so thankful that that's their perspective in their outcome.
Yeah, it's so uplifting to hear success stories of people who come in scared and afraid and grow. And so I guess I'll close here with one last question. What would be some words that you would share with a woman first entering Hearth today?
Yeah, I think when I think about coming to Hearth for the first time, I can remember how scared I was. So the first thing I think I would say is it's okay to be scared. Like, you don't have to deny your anxiety or not be afraid. It absolutely makes sense that you're afraid. And hold on to hope. I think that's the other thing I would say, because you have made the first big step in your journey forward. And there's a lot of hope here. You're going to be connected with resources. You're going to have support. You're going to find emotional healing. There's so many opportunities. So just hold on to that hope and keep looking forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say hope never dies, and it sounds like that's been a big motto for you too. So, Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your story today. And my hope for you is that you and your family continue to progress. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I really enjoyed spending some time with Shannon as we worked together to record that clip. And, during our initial practice run, I was stunned when she told me how she had had hope the whole way through her journey. I personally am a big believer of hope never dies, and clearly Shannon lived by that motto. As supporters of Hearth, each of us makes that hope possible for these families. If you want to make an impact on the lives of other women like Shannon, please help fill the purse by donating. Just visit the BidPal link and click on the donate button. All the money raised through Fill the Purses goes towards supporting women like Shannon who are helping to create better lives for themselves and their families. You can donate to Fill the Purse until Monday at 2 p.m. Please help us meet our goal.
Yes, Christine, it is very important, and I loved that interview. You guys did a wonderful job. I've also seen firsthand the impact of Hearth, and I've heard so many other stories just like Shannon's. That is why I am also so passionate about Hearth and this event, which I've served on the committee now for 6 years. So sort of to wrap it up on my end, if you are a winner of a silent auction item, you will receive a text letting you know which handbags you have won, and an email to work out details around picking up your items. All items can be picked up at Hearth on either Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday of this week. We want to make sure that there's time to get these items to their appropriate winners in time for the holidays. Please check the website and your emails for updates on times to pick up those days. Reminder, both the Purses Silent Auction and the Clutches for a Cause raffle will close at 2 p.m. on Sunday.
Planning this event and seeing it come together has been a true labor of love, and I can't believe it's nearly over. Thank you all for supporting the families of Hearth. And now for some final farewells and thank yous, Jackie. Let's say our goodbyes and kick over to our incredible MCs. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Hi again, everybody. We hope you have enjoyed the event so far.
Yeah, it was so impactful, David, to hear from Shannon about her journey at Hearth. And we want to take this time to recognize the amazing sponsors who made this event happen. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield and Allegheny Health Network, Sherrard, German and Kelly, Julie and Robert Vuelmont, Lock and Key Properties, UPMC Health Plan, and Lamont Restaurant.
And I also want to thank the Heart staff for all the hard work, and also the Purses with a Purpose committee. They've worked very hard on this as well. And really everyone who donated toward this amazing silent auction.
Yes, great. Well, it has been a pleasure being a part of this event, and we hope that next year that we can actually meet together again. And remember,
Yes.
you are a new donor to Hearth. Your donation will be matched 2-to-1 by Hearth's anonymous donor, which is such an amazing opportunity for the families of Hearth.
Yeah, it's very exciting that that's going on. So thank you for having us. It has been a pleasure. Happy holidays, and we will end this with Hearth CEO Marisa C. Williams.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the silent auction. Just a reminder, the silent auction will be open until 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Please continue to donate until we hit that $10,000 in our purse. We are so close. I can feel it. Please make sure you dig a little deeper in that purse and give a couple extra dollars. It'll be good for you, good for us, and good for the holiday season. And thank you so much to Jackie and Christine and the entire Purses committee for all of your hard work. We could not have done this without you. We know that it was a little different this year. We weren't at our normal location and we didn't have 500 women clamoring to get to these bags. But guess what? Next year, fingers crossed, we'll be back in that space. And it'll be exactly what you remember, and maybe just a little bit better. So thank you so much for making an impact on the women that we serve and giving a little bit and doing the hard work today. We really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a blessed and amazing holiday season. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. Go Steelers. Have a great day.
you.